contamination concerns, misleading pasture claims, and organic butter with nutrient profiles no better than conventional, all hiding behind the USDA seal in some of America's most trusted dairy brands. That golden stick in your fridge right now, the one with the green organic label you chose because you wanted something cleaner, something safer for your family. But buy the wrong organic butter and what you're really spreading on your morning toast is commodity cream from confined cows, trace pesticide residues, and inflated moisture content dressed up as a premium product. If this has been your go-to brand for 10, 20, 30 years, everything we uncovered has been on your table that entire time. Today we're breaking down 9 organic butter brands that failed to deliver on their promises, including several most people consider premium, plus the 3 brands that actually tested clean and earned a permanent place in your kitchen. Coming in at number 9, Horizon Organic Butter. The green pastures on the label. The happy cow. The word organic printed in bold letters promising something better than what everyone else is buying at the grocery store. Horizon is one of the most recognized organic dairy brands in the entire country. Families have trusted it for decades. It sits in nearly every supermarket in America, placed right at eye level, right where your hand reaches without a second thought. But Horizon is owned by Danone, a multinational food conglomerate worth over $50 billion. And investigations into Danone's sourcing practices have revealed something the cheerful packaging never shows you. Many of the farms supplying Horizon operate as large industrial-scale dairies. Cows on these operations may receive limited genuine pasture access. They meet the bare minimum USDA organic threshold on paper, while operating essentially as confined feeding operations with an organic certificate stapled to the gate. What does that mean for your butter? The fatty acid profile shifts dramatically. Butter from cows that actually graze on open grass contains significantly higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin K2. Those aren't optional extras on a nutrition label. For anyone managing cardiovascular health or families concerned about long-term bone density, K2 is the nutrient that directs calcium into your bones instead of letting it deposit in your arteries. Without adequate pasture time, those levels plummet. You're paying organic prices for a conventional nutrient profile. That USDA seal cost you $3 more per stick. The cow never saw a real pasture. Happy cow on the box. Sad truth inside the wrapper. You paid for the picture, not the product. You'd think if the biggest brand cuts corners, at least the mission-driven brands would be different. Think again. At number 8, Stonyfield Organic Butter, the company that built its entire identity on being the good guys of dairy. The Organic Pioneers, the brand that health-conscious shoppers choose because it feels responsible, because the founders spoke passionately about saving the planet, because every single thing about Stonyfield's marketing whispers trust us. We're different from those corporate brands. Stonyfield sources its milk from a network of partner farms scattered across the country. That sounds wholesome until you realize what network actually means in the dairy industry. It means varying standards. It means some farms meet genuinely high benchmarks while others barely scrape past the regulatory floor. It means inconsistency baked into every single batch that reaches your kitchen table. And here's what most consumers never hear about. Independent testing has revealed that some conventional organic butters, including those from networked supply chains like Stonyfield's, contain pesticide residue traces. These levels technically fall below USDA thresholds. Technically legal, technically compliant, technically safe according to the paperwork, but for anyone taking daily medications like statins or blood pressure prescriptions, or families trying to actively reduce their chemical exposure at the dinner table, even low-level residues add to the cumulative toxic burden on your liver. Your liver is already working overtime processing your prescriptions every single day. Now, layer in trace pesticides from your so-called clean organic butter. Every morning, every piece of toast, every pan you grease for the weekend breakfast, the residues don't announce themselves. They accumulate in silence. The organic label promises relief from exactly this kind of hidden chemical burden. Stonyfield charges you a premium for that promise. Their patchwork supply chain doesn't deliver it. Pioneer marketing, commodity reality. The founders talked about changing the dairy industry. The butter suggests they joined it instead. But if the mission-driven brand can't keep it clean, surely a farmer-owned cooperative does better. Wrong. Number 7. Organic Valley. Cultured butter. This is the one people defend with real passion. The farmer-owned cooperative, the gold standard of ethical dairy production in America. Every Organic Valley advertisement features real farmers, real red barns, real rolling pastures stretching green to the horizon. The butter even says cultured right on the label, implying an artisanal, European-style product crafted with patience and traditional care by people who genuinely love their craft. Then the USDA records tell a completely different story. Some cooperative member farms have been cited for record-keeping violations on pasture compliance. Record-keeping violations. That's government language for we cannot verify the cows actually grazed as much as the cooperative claims they did. When independent labs tested Organic Valley butter, the conjugated linoleic acid levels came back lower than expected for truly pastured products. CLA matters more than most people realize. It's not a marketing buzzword printed on fancy labels to justify premium pricing. For anyone over 50 managing chronic inflammation or families with a history of heart disease, CLA plays a documented role in reducing inflammatory markers linked to arterial plaque buildup and insulin resistance. Lower CLA means the cows weren't eating enough real grass. It means the word cultured on the label is doing far more work than the actual pastures ever did. Open that tub and look closely at what's inside. That pale yellow color tells you everything you need to know. Truly grass-fed butter glows a deep, unmistakable gold from natural beta-carotene. This one looks like every other commodity butter on the shelf, because that's exactly what it is. Farmer-owned sounds beautiful. The lab results sound ordinary. If even the beloved cooperative can't guarantee genuine pasture access, what about the store brands that promise premium quality? Let's find out. Number 6. 365 by Whole Foods Organic Butter. The Whole Foods name carries enormous weight with health-conscious shoppers across the country. Walk into that store and everything around you feels curated, intentional, elevated. The warm lighting, the clean displays, the staff recommendations, and the prices, especially the prices. You're paying significantly more because you genuinely believe the sourcing standards match that carefully crafted atmosphere. But 365 organic butter is contract manufactured from commodity organic cream purchased on the open wholesale market. That means Whole Foods doesn't make this butter. They don't source the cream themselves. They don't visit the farms. They don't watch the cows graze. A third-party manufacturer buys the cheapest organic cream available and stamps it with the 365 house label. Since Amazon acquired Whole Foods, cost-cutting pressure has only intensified across every product category. Supplier audits have revealed inconsistent fat content and moisture levels exceeding traditional European butter standards in multiple batches. That matters more than most shoppers realize. Excess moisture in butter means less actual butter fat per serving. For anyone carefully tracking saturated fat intake for heart disease management or families counting macros and planning meals around specific nutritional targets, the numbers on the nutrition label quietly become unreliable. You think you're consuming a measured amount of butter fat per tablespoon. You're getting water dressed up as a premium dairy product. $3 more than regular store brand for the exact same commodity cream in a prettier wrapper. Amazon didn't buy Whole Foods to improve your butter. They bought it to make your butter cheaper to produce and far more profitable to sell. Premium aisle, premium price, commodity product. You're paying for the store, not the stick. This next one has a fan base so loyal they'll defend it against any criticism. What the actual sourcing reveals is a completely different story. Number 5. Trader Joe's Organic Butter, the cult favorite grocery store. The place where everything feels like a charming personal discovery, where the employees wear Hawaiian shirts and ring bells at the register, where the prices seem almost too good to be real, and every hand-lettered sign makes the shopping experience feel intimate and curated just for you. Trader Joe's customers don't just shop there, they evangelize to everyone they know. And the organic butter rides that wave of unconditional brand devotion straight into shopping carts nationwide without question. But here's what that devotion doesn't tell you. Trader Joe's organic butter is private label. The brand name belongs to Trader Joe's, but the actual manufacturer remains completely undisclosed to consumers. You don't know who made your butter. You don't know which farm supplied the cream. You don't know what state it was produced in or what standards that facility actually follows. Traceability is nearly impossible. Consumer lab comparisons have found that Trader Joe's organic butter has a flavor profile and fatty acid composition perfectly consistent with basic commodity organic cream. Nothing special, nothing curated, nothing that justifies the implied promise of careful Trader Joe's brand selection. For anyone monitoring sodium and dietary fat for hypertension, or families trying to make truly informed decisions about what goes on the dinner table, the complete lack of sourcing transparency makes it genuinely impossible to verify whether this product aligns with a heart-healthy dietary plan. You can't trace what you can't identify. You can't verify what they refuse to disclose. Hawaiian shirts, handwritten chalkboard signs, anonymous butter from an unknown farm. The Trader Joe's cult runs on loyalty. The butter itself runs on secrecy. If you're finding this helpful, hit subscribe. It's free and it means you'll never miss these investigations. See the pattern forming here? Big brands cut corners. Mission brands hide behind heritage. Store brands quietly repackage commodity cream with better graphics. So where does that leave the budget organic labels? Number 4. Simple Truth Organic Butter from Kroger, the affordable gateway to organic eating for millions of families. Available in thousands of Kroger stores nationwide, from coast to coast. Simple Truth is how a huge portion of American households first enter the organic market. The price is approachable. The packaging looks clean and straightforward. The name itself, Simple Truth, tells you exactly what you desperately want to hear while standing in the dairy aisle trying to make a better choice for your family. But Kroger's dairy supply chain has a documented history of serious problems that most shoppers never learn about. The company has received multiple FDA warning letters for sanitation deficiencies across its dairy operations. Not friendly suggestions, not gentle industry recommendations. Official FDA warning letters. The kind the federal government issues when compliance failures are serious enough to demand immediate corrective action and go permanently on the public record. And Simple Truth organic butter relies on third-party sourcing with limited farm-level verification. Kroger doesn't actually know which specific farms produce the cream in your butter on any given week. They trust their suppliers. Their suppliers have FDA warning letters on file. For anyone with a compromised immune system or chronic kidney disease, or families with young children whose developing systems are especially vulnerable to contamination, dairy from facilities with documented hygiene failures carries real risks. Simple Truth. Complex supply chain. Documented sanitation failures. The brand name promises honesty. The reality behind the label is anything but simple. And if the budget organic brand can't even guarantee basic sanitation standards, surely the iconic century-old American heritage brand gets it right. Number 3. Land O'Lakes Organic Butter. The butter with the lake on the label. The butter your parents bought without hesitation. The brand that's been part of American kitchen tables for nearly 100 years. Land O'Lakes doesn't need to advertise trust to consumers. They inherited it from your grandmother. Generations of families have reached for that familiar package without a single moment of doubt. But here's what generational trust quietly hides from view. Land O'Lakes' organic line represents a tiny fraction of their massive conventional dairy operation. The company processes billions of pounds of conventional dairy every single year across enormous facilities. Organic is a side project for them, a calculated line extension, a strategic way to capture premium-seeking customers without fundamentally changing a single thing about their core conventional business. Investigations have revealed that some farms supplying the Land O'Lakes organic segment maintained only minimum organic pasture requirements. Minimum. The legal floor. The absolute bare minimum to keep the USDA certification technically active while operating essentially as conventional confined dairies that happen to purchase organic feed. For anyone dealing with chronic joint pain or cardiovascular inflammation, or families navigating metabolic health concerns, this means the butter likely carries an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio much closer to inflammatory conventional butter than to genuine grass-fed dairy. The entire reason for choosing organic grass-fed butter is to improve that inflammatory ratio. Land O'Lakes Organic doesn't deliver that benefit. Organic premium pricing, conventional inflammatory profile, 100 years of trust, the same commodity result as everyone else at the store. That was bad, but the next brand on this list pushes the deception even further. Number 2. Great Value Organic Butter from Walmart, the biggest retailer on earth selling organic butter at the lowest possible price. Sounds like access for every American family regardless of income. Sounds fair? Sounds democratic. But stop and think about what rock-bottom organic pricing actually demands from every link in the supply chain. Walmart's dairy suppliers have been subject to USDA enforcement actions for organic integrity violations. Not rumors circulating online, not anonymous complaints. Official USDA enforcement actions. The federal government caught suppliers actively cheating on the very organic standards that the seal on your butter promises consumers are being followed. The extreme cost pressure Walmart places on every single supplier in its vast chain raises a deeply uncomfortable question. Can genuine organic farming standards actually survive when the buyer demands the absolute lowest price in the entire market? Something always gives somewhere. The feed quality quietly drops. The pasture time shrinks. the testing frequency decreases. The compliance paperwork gets more creative with each quarterly review. For anyone on a fixed income who trusts the organic label to mean genuinely cleaner food, or families stretching every grocery dollar to feed their household responsibly, this product may deliver a dangerous false sense of security while providing zero additional nutritional benefit. The cardiovascular and anti-inflammatory advantages that justify paying more for authentic organic butter simply are not present in commodity product engineered purely for price. Everyday low prices, everyday low standards. You saved $1 per stick. Your butter lost its entire purpose. The next brand on this list is one you'll find in nearly every American supermarket, and it might be the worst of them all. Drop a comment if Great Value Organic is sitting in your fridge right now. Let's see how many of us have been trusting the price tag instead of the product. Number 1. The worst offender on this entire list isn't a brand at all. It's every generic store brand, USDA, organic butter from regional supermarket chains across the country. The cheapest organic option sitting quietly on the bottom shelf. The one that makes you feel financially savvy for saving money while still choosing organic for your family. These products are almost always sourced from the lowest cost organic commodity cream pools available on the wholesale market. The exact same pools that have been the target of multiple federal fraud investigations over the past decade. In 2019, the USDA conducted a major crackdown on large dairy operations that were fraudulently selling conventional milk labeled and certified as organic. Conventional milk, stamped with the organic seal, shipped to processors and packaged for retail, sold to families who paid premium prices specifically to avoid the synthetic hormones, the routine antibiotics, the chemical residues they didn't want anywhere near their bodies or their children's developing systems. The fraud was systemic and widespread. Multiple farms across multiple states operating for years before federal investigators finally caught up. And the cheapest organic butter on your supermarket shelf is statistically the most likely product in the dairy case to trace back to exactly these kinds of compromised, fraudulent operations. For anyone taking blood thinners or managing diabetes with daily medication, or families overseeing kidney function in aging parents, unknowingly consuming conventionally produced butter, carrying synthetic hormone residues and elevated pesticide loads directly undermines every single health goal that motivated the organic purchase in the first place. You bought organic to protect yourself and the people you love most. The cheapest organic on the shelf may be nothing more than conventional butter wearing a forged diploma. No brand name to hold accountable, no company to contact, no traceability back to any specific farm or facility, just a USDA seal stamped on the cheapest cream available. The biggest fraud in the dairy aisle isn't a brand name you recognize, it's a label you trusted completely. 9 brands exposed. From Horizon's industrial pastures to Stonyfield's inconsistent supply chain. From Organic Valley's questionable CLA levels to Whole Foods selling commodity cream in a premium wrapper. From Trader Joe's anonymous sourcing to Kroger's FDA warning letters. From Land O'Lakes' conventional inflammatory profile to Walmart's enforcement actions. And the generic store brand organic butter that might not even be organic at all. That's what's been sitting in your fridge. That's what you've been spreading on your family's toast every morning. But don't abandon butter entirely. 3 brands prove it's still absolutely possible to get the real thing. What's the worst organic butter experience you've ever had? Drop it in the comments. Now for the good news. Kerrygold, pure Irish butter. Open a package of Kerrygold, and the first thing you notice is the color. A deep, rich, unmistakable golden yellow that practically glows. Not the pale, waxy white of commodity organic butter. That vibrant color comes from natural beta-carotene, concentrated in the fresh grass that Irish cows eat for up to 312 days per year. These aren't cows that see a pasture twice a month for compliance photographs. These are animals that live outdoors on lush green grass nearly every single day of the year, and you can taste the difference immediately. Spread Kerrygold on warm bread and the flavor is complex, deeply creamy, almost sweet with a clean finish that lingers on your palate. No waxy coating on your tongue. No flat, one-dimensional taste that vanishes before you can even name it. This is butter that actually delivers real flavor because there's something genuinely real inside. Independent lab tests consistently confirm that Kerrygold contains significantly higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids, conjugated linoleic acid, and fat-soluble vitamins A and K2 compared to conventional and most organic American butters on the market today. For anyone managing bone health alongside cardiovascular concerns, or families who want actual measurable nutrition from their daily dairy, that elevated K2 content actively supports calcium being directed into your bones rather than accumulating in arterial walls. It benefits both osteoporosis prevention and cardiovascular protection at the same time. Kerrygold costs $1 or $2 more per stick than the commodity brands we just exposed. That small difference buys you butter that actually delivers everything organic butter only promises on the label. Safe Pick 2. Vital Farms pasture-raised butter. If you want American-made butter from cows that actually live the way all those organic labels pretend their cows live, Vital Farms is exactly where you should look. This company partners directly with small family farms across the country and enforces a strict 108 square foot per animal outdoor pasture requirement that goes far beyond any USDA organic minimum standard on the books. That's not a marketing claim buried in fine print. It's a verified, independently audited standard backed by third-party certified humane verification that any consumer can confirm. Vital Farms publishes transparent supply chain information, including actual farm names and geographic locations. You can look up exactly where your butter was produced. Try doing that with Trader Joe's private label mystery product or Walmart's great value commodity butter. The texture alone tells you everything you need to know. Vital Farms butter is dense, rich, and substantial under the knife. It melts slowly and deliberately in a warm pan, releasing a clean, grassy aroma that fills the entire kitchen. Compare that to the instant liquefaction of moisture-heavy, commodity butters that spit and sputter because they're carrying water weight instead of real butter fat. For anyone concerned about antibiotic residues interfering with gut health, or daily medication absorption, or families who simply want to know with certainty what's actually in their food, Vital Farms' rigorous no antibiotics ever policy and genuine year-round pasture access provide measurably cleaner butter. Transparency isn't a marketing buzzword here, it's the entire business model, and you can taste that honesty in every bite. Safe Pick 3. Anchor butter from New Zealand. Sometimes the cleanest butter on the planet comes from the farthest place on the map. Anchor sources exclusively from New Zealand dairy farms where cows graze on open pasture year-round in one of the world's strictest agricultural regulatory environments. New Zealand didn't ask dairy companies to voluntarily reduce growth hormone usage. They banned RBGH entirely at the national level through federal law. Not a corporate pledge posted on a website. Not a voluntary industry handshake. A nationwide legal prohibition enforced by the government with real consequences for violators. The country's Ministry for Primary Industries conducts rigorous mandatory residue testing on every dairy export leaving New Zealand shores. Anchor butter consistently passes those tests with no detectable pesticide, antibiotic, or hormone residues whatsoever. Not below the regulatory threshold. Not technically compliant on paper. Zero detectable residues in the finished product. Unwrap a block of Anchor and notice the firm, satisfying density. Smell the clean, pure dairy scent with absolutely no chemical undertone lurking beneath the surface. Taste it straight from the knife, and there's a natural sweetness that comes exclusively from genuine grass feeding. A depth and complexity of flavor that commodity cream from confined operations simply cannot replicate. For anyone managing blood pressure or cholesterol through careful daily nutrition, or families who want the absolute cleanest dairy product on their table, Anchor delivers a higher proportion of beneficial short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. Butyrate directly supports gut lining integrity and helps reduce systemic inflammation throughout the body. No hidden chemicals, no creative compliance paperwork, no minimum standard pasture theater. Just honest butter from a country that refuses to compromise. 9 brands, 9 broken promises. Your morning butter should be nourishment, not deception. Subscribe now. And if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.